2005 Heights. This is a drama, and it stars Glenn Close and other members of the cast we'll come to in a bit. It follows 5 characters over 24 hours on a day in autumn in New York City. Isabel's a photographer, and she's having second thoughts about upcoming marriage to Jonathan, who's a lawyer. On the same day, Isabel's mother, Diana, learns that her husband has a new lover and begins to rethink her life choices and her open marriage. And Diana and Isabel's paths cross with Alex, a young actor, and with Peter, a journalist. As the interrelated stories proceed, the connections between the lives of the 5 characters begins to reveal themselves and their stories unravel. All 5 of them must choose what kind of lives they will lead before the sun comes up on the next day. Sounds quite interesting, doesn't it? The film opens with what appears to be a sort of amateur dramatic society. Diana, played by Close, seems to be directing 2 young people, one of which could be it could be anybody really at this stage, and this is the beginning of the movie, and we are now told that we're going to hear about Diana's story, and they're obviously going to interlink later. Actually, Close appears to be a lecturer, possibly in arts, drama, and she appears to be quite passionate. We then meet Isabel and Jonathan in their apartment. Prior to that, we capture Isabel doing her photography work, but together they are sharing small talk about their future wedding, just general chit chat. They appear to be both quitting smoking, and finally we hear that they're going to go to the rabbi. So obviously it's a Jewish wedding. As Isabel leaves for work, Jonathan then finds a packet of cigarettes that he's hidden away and lights up. Just a few details. The director's using split screens, which is a technique that I quite like. Isabel has a job being a photographer at a wedding, and as she's at the event, to some mood-like music, we sense that she's having doubts about her own forthcoming marriage as she views the happy couple sharing their vows and cementing their relationship. We catch Jonathan in his office with a colleague, and we then capture Isabel as she runs into Mark, who appears to be possibly an old flame. We then meet Peter, who's a journalist, and he's goes to the magazine office of Vanity Fair, and he's doing some work on a person called Benjamin, who seems to be quite famous, and there's a hint that they may be having a gay sexual relationship, a hint that he may be gay, and as part of his work, which he needs to do to, I assume, provide the magazine with a piece to run on in their magazine, the editor or whatever suggests that he should contact 3 exes of Benjamin, all of which are male. There's a small part for Isabella Rossellini, who plays Liz, who I assume is an editor at the magazine. She's got quite a bit of detail to share. She's the daughter of Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini, and she was also the third wife of Martin Scorsese, and also the partner of legendary director David Lynch. And what else can we say about her? So anyway, she's her resume. She's been in Blue Velvet, Death Becomes Fearless, and what others? She's got a pretty extensive filmography, it has to be said. I'm looking for any others that I may have or may have seen her in. And lots of TV work, done lots of TV work, TV series, Friends, Chicago Hope. She's got a very extensive filmography. And Wyatt Earp, she was in Wyatt Earp, The Cosner, Wild at Heart with Nick Cage. That's a very early one, 1990. Wow. Anyway, and she's also done some directing. We then get to move on to Alec and Diane. Alec's an actor, and he's at a possible. He's got possibly some work, so he's waiting to be what's the word when they hire staff, they have to do what do they call it? It'll come to me in a bit. Yeah, of course, audition is a word I was looking for. He's at an audition and he meets Diana there. And let's see, so Peter and Liz, Alec has been given a script to play a closeted gay. He arrives for the audition and he's waiting to meet Close, who's the director. Previously she was seen with actors and she's directing a play, Midsummer Night's Dream. Okay, so we're keeping up to date with this script, which is quite complicated. Jonathan is contacted with regard to Benjamin, a photographer who was mentioned earlier, in terms of the journalist looking into the Vanity Fair piece, and the contact to the lawyer suggests that there's something untoward involving Benjamin, possibly a scandal, because he is clearly potentially, Benjamin may be one of his clients. So Diana auditions Alex, and she seems to have got a slight crush on him, and she tries to invite him to another event later on, and she finds out that Alex is living in the same building as her daughter Isabel, but she seemed to be sort of hitting on him slightly, and she's going to an event where her husband, who we've yet to meet, is part of the cast. There's a lot happening in this movie, so we switch back to the journalist. What was his name again? Peter, who interviews briefly Benjamin's exes, who all deliver some rather hostile comment about what a shit he is, and then we switch back to Isabel, the photographer, and the studio that provides her with most of her work is cutting back, and in fact, more than that, it appears that she's been fired because she explained that she wanted to reduce her workload because of her wedding, and now it's been reduced to nothing. Peter, certainly through his acting, may well be gay, and as he unravels Benjamin's past, it appears Benjamin, as a successful photographer, has been somewhat promiscuous and has left a parade of scorned lovers in his path. He meets, Peter meets another one, Jeremy, played by Rufus Wainwright, who's also one of Benjamin's ex, and ends up in a bar, and Jeremy's quite smitten with Peter. Amazing, some of these old actors that crop up here. George Siegel is playing the rabbi. We see him in a scene with Jonathan, and also I noted Michael Murphy, who worked with Woody Allen. He's going to turn up a bit later. This is not a bad movie, but it has to be said that Glenn Close is just such a class act. You know, when she's on screen, her character is quite domineering, and she's just a 5-star actress, really is. And the others are sort of all minions when they're around her. She's got a sort of an aura of talent that oozes out. You know, it'd be worthwhile just paying to get a ticket just to see her in this movie. Really superb. There's a rather unfortunate incident when Diana arrives at the theatre where she's going to play Lady Macbeth, and her husband's also in the cast, and she wants to have a word with him, and she finds him with a younger woman in a sort of friendly sort of physical contact, and Isabel is immediately suspicious that they're having an affair, and this is followed on from a bit of a conflict with her daughter Isabel earlier in the street, when Isabel tries to give some motherly advice about relationships, and Isabel snaps back and implies that Diana has not exactly been loyal, and certainly the inference is that she's had flings, so that causes a bit of a stir. Open marriage, they call it. Isabel goes along to Mark's agency about the work, and becomes evident from the boss, played by Murphy, Jess, that they need somebody immediately, as the previous photographer has sort of ran off with some woman in Slovakia. Unfortunately, of course, with the wedding a few weeks ago, she has to sort of decline, and she really wanted to take it on. Mark then sort of follows her, and they have a heart-to-heart, and the combination of Mark, who's clearly an ex of hers, and the loss of her job, and then the unable to take up this really great offer on a career, is plunging her into a lot of doubt about whether this is the right thing to get married. It's all pretty good stuff. Life's path, often very, very difficult to tread the line in a way that is best for oneself. Decisions or lack of decisions forcing one on a different path. Jonathan then meets up with Peter, the journalist, and Peter's been contacting him, and it's clear that they probably had a relationship. Jonathan is sort of bisexual, which throws another spanner in the works. We've had 47, so 50 minutes left. We're approaching 5 o'clock in the morning.
Share your drinks. Ring out the bells aloud throughout the town. Feast and banquet in the open streets.
Henry V.
Henry VI.
Nobody reads Henry VI now.
Shakespeare's worst is still better than anyone else's best. Cheers.
Cheers.
How are rehearsals?
Oh, the director says he's pushing the boundaries. Tell her your idea for the three riches.
Laura Bush, Lynn Cheney, Martha Stewart.
Shock and awe. Everything you thought you knew about the play will be reversed in an instant.
Thank you.
Try not to blink, so as not to miss the instant.
Well, hello. I didn't think you'd mind if I brought a friend to the party. There are very few things I mind. New and charming guests at my parties is not one of them.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome.
Still haven't quite got there. Then we come to Isabel's party, and clearly she's on the lookout for a man after being scorned by her husband, and I guess this is going to throw up a few more spanners. The cracks are appearing between Isabel and Jonathan. Snidey comments from him about Mark, her ex, and she, of course, hugely disappointed at missing the opportunity of the job. Jonathan decided to hit the bottle, and of course there's his baggage as well about previously being interested in guys. So yep. Jonathan returns to the rabbi, George Siegel, and he's clearly feeling very uncertain, and he wants to disclose to Isabel about his philandering with males, although that's not actually said to the rabbi. That's my interpretation, and the rabbi suggests that he talk with her about it. Isabel is now at the party and she's talking to some foreigner. She's confused about the next step in her life as well. Isabel gets talking to this guy at the party. I'm not too sure what his name is, but he comes from Wales, and then they leave, and on the subway he gets stabbed. So we then get plunged into a crisis where she's helping to get him to a hospital. Peter shows Glenn Close's character, Diana, some photos taken by Benjamin of his array of lovers, and she spots one and she recognises it. We don't see it, but I suspect it's probably Jonathan. Isabel comes home after the mugging. She can't see the man because she didn't know his name, and then she meets Alec on the rooftop, and then Jonathan arrives, and then a conversation starts to envelop. Isabel's put two and two together and asks Jonathan about his philanderings with Benjamin. So we'll see what's happening. To complicate matters, it seems to be that currently Jonathan is also having a fling with Alex. Wow, what a conundrum. They start to kiss, and then of course Isabel goes to the rooftop and catches them in the act. So there we are. It's not the past, it's the present. All these secrets. Heights is the name of the movie. Very cute ending. Not a bad film. Certainly better than I've seen of late.